Kennedy Center changed board rules months before vote to add Trump's name. The new rules say only trustees appointed by the president can vote, barring other members, including seats held by Democrats, from decisions. The Kennedy Center adopted bylaws earlier this year that limited voting to presidentially appointed trustees, a move that preceded a unanimous decision this month by board members installed by President Donald Trump to add his name to the center. The current bylaws, obtained by the Washington Post, were revised in May to specify that board members designated by Congress, known as ex officio members, could not vote or count toward a quorum. Legal experts say the move may conflict with the institution's charter. Trump took over the Kennedy Center in February, purging its board of members he had not appointed. The months that followed saw struggling ticket sales and programming changes that began to align the arts complex with the Trump administration's broader cultural aims, culminating with the annual Kennedy Center Honors hosted by the president. Days later, on December 18th, the board voted to add the president's name to the institution, and within 24 hours, it was on the website and the building itself, the Donald J. Trump and the John F. Kennedy Memorial Center for the Performing Arts. Roma Daravi, the center's vice president of public relations, told the Post that ex officio members have never voted. The bylaws were revised to reflect this long-standing precedent, and everyone received the technical changes both before the meeting and after revisions, Daravi wrote in an email to the Post. Some members, including ex officio, attended in person, others by phone, and no concerns were voiced, no one objected, and the bylaws passed unanimously.
I'm Congresswoman Joyce Beatty. I'm sitting here in my congressional office in Washington, D.C., just ending a call with the Kennedy Center, where I serve as an ex officio member. I am bringing this to you live today because what you may hear is that there was a unanimous vote to rename the Kennedy Center the Trump Center. Be clear, I was on that call, and as I tried to push my button to voice my concern, to ask questions, and certainly not to vote in support of this, I was muted. Each time I tried to speak, I was muted. Participants were not allowed to voice their concerns who were online. Yet it was said at the end, it was a unanimous vote. Clearly, the Congress has a say in this. This center, the Kennedy Center, was created by the Congress. I think it's important for us to know that this is just another attempt to evade the law and not let the people have a say.
During a rally outside of the Kennedy Center on December 20th, Senator Chris Van Hollen said he and his colleagues would work to reverse the move when Congress returns to session in January. The day we get back, we can put an amendment on the Interior Appropriations Bill to reverse this outrage, he told the crowd. Beatty's lawsuit, filed in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia, claimed that the vote exceeded its statutory authority and requested that a judge declare it to be void. Because Congress named the center by statute, changing the Kennedy Center's name requires an act of Congress, the lawsuit says, adding that Congress intended the center to be a living memorial to President Kennedy and a crown jewel of the arts for all Americans irrespective of party. Last week, Representative April McClain Delaney, Democrat from Maryland, said she would introduce legislation to remove Trump's name. Representative Chellie Pingree, Maine, the top Democrat on the Appropriations Subcommittee that oversees the Kennedy Center, along with more than 70 lawmakers in Congress, called for Trump to reverse the renaming effort and remove his name from the building immediately. No board vote nor social media post has the legal authority to change the name without an act of Congress, the members wrote. We'll be working to block this disgraceful renaming effort at every possible opportunity and restore the Kennedy Center's rightful place as our nation's cultural center without the burden of vanity projects or political influence, they wrote.
Those are just the highlights. For the full story, visit the Washington Post website, who better describes it as stolen presidential valor.
This was originally going to be a holiday message to my constituents, my people today, but then Trump changed the name of the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. And even though we all have a lot of things to worry about today, just as an Irish Catholic from Boston, I just can't let this one go. Just to remind people, especially my younger constituents, my younger friends, a couple of things about John F. Kennedy. You know, JFK was a decorated Navy war veteran. He served in the South Pacific Theater during World War II at a time when our democracy itself hung in the balance. The Kennedys were a Gold Star family. Lieutenant Joseph P. Kennedy, United States Navy, was killed when his plane went down over England in 1944. And after JFK was brutally assassinated, President Lyndon Johnson and the United States Congress, where I serve, dedicated the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts as the only dedicated national memorial in Washington, D.C., to acknowledge his service and his sacrifice to our country. So given all of that, let me just speak plainly. Donald Trump's actions to have his name placed above John F. Kennedy's on the Center for the Performing Arts is a case of stolen valor, plain and simple.